The basking shark Cedorhinus maximus is the second largest species of shark in the world, following the whale shark. These gentle giants can grow up to about 26 feet 8 meters long, though some reports suggest they can reach even longer lengths. Despite their imposing size, basking sharks are filter feeders and pose no threat to humans. Feeding and behavior. Basking sharks feed primarily on plankton, which includes tiny organisms like zooplankton and phytoplankton. They have large mouths, which they open wide while swimming slowly through the water, often near the surface. Their mouths can be up to 3 feet 1 meter wide, and they use gill rakers to filter plankton from the water as it flows through their mouths. Basking sharks are often seen swimming slowly near the surface of the water, a behavior that has led to their name basking. They enjoy sunbathing at the water's surface, which is not just for relaxation, it's a practical behavior that helps regulate their body temperature and allows them to feed on surface plankton. Habitat. These sharks are found in temperate waters worldwide, often in coastal areas and deep waters. They tend to migrate, following the plankton blooms, which are their main food source. Conservation. While basking sharks aren't considered a significant threat to humans, they are considered vulnerable due to overfishing and accidental capture in fishing nets. Physical characteristics. Basking sharks are large, slow-moving creatures with a unique, almost prehistoric look. They have long, conical snouts and wide mouths that give them a distinctive appearance. Their skin is usually a grayish-brown color with a lighter underside, which helps them blend in with the ocean waters. One of their most striking features is their large, gaping mouth. It can open up to about 3 feet 1 meter wide when the shark is feeding. The mouth is lined with hundreds of tiny comb-like structures called gill rakers, which help the shark filter plankton from the water as it swims. Basking sharks have small, triangular dorsal fins, and long, slender tails. Despite their large size, they are known for their slow swimming speeds, averaging around 1.2 miles per hour 2 kilometers per hour, though they can accelerate when necessary. Behavior and feeding techniques. Basking sharks are often seen feeding near the surface of the water, where plankton concentrations are high. They swim with their mouths wide open, creating a funnel that traps plankton as water flows through it. The shark uses its gill rakers to filter out the plankton from the water before expelling the excess water from its gills. These sharks are often seen swimming near the surface in a relatively slow and lazy manner, sometimes in what appears to be a basking position, which is where they get their name. While it might look like they are sunbathing, they are simply filtering plankton in nutrient-rich waters. They tend to stay near the surface for extended periods, sometimes in groups, and are often spotted near areas like coastal bays or upwelling zones where plankton populations are abundant. Migration patterns. Basking sharks are migratory creatures and often travel vast distances to follow plankton blooms. Their migratory patterns can vary based on water temperatures and plankton availability. During colder months, they may move to deeper waters, and in warmer months, they come closer to shore. Some populations, like those found off the coast of the UK, are known to migrate seasonally. They may also migrate long distances across oceans, with some populations traveling between regions. For example, basking sharks off the coast of the UK are known to head south for the winter, and return in the spring as plankton blooms. Reproduction. The reproductive habits of basking sharks are not fully understood, mainly due to their elusive nature and the difficulty of studying them in the wild. It is believed that they give birth to live young, though the exact process is unclear. The gestation period is speculated to be quite long, with some estimates suggesting it could be over 2 years. As with many sharks, the reproductive rate of basking sharks is relatively low. Threats and conservation status. Despite their large size, basking sharks are not a threat to humans, but they face significant threats due to human activities. Historically, they were hunted for their liver oil, which was valuable for various industries, and their populations were severely depleted. They are also at risk from bycatch, getting unintentionally caught in fishing nets, and habitat destruction caused by human activities. The International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, has listed the basking shark as vulnerable, and they are protected by various laws and regulations in different parts of the world. In some countries, fishing for basking sharks is banned, and international agreements aim to protect them in global waters. Ecological role. Basking sharks play an important role in the marine ecosystem as filter feeders. By consuming large amounts of plankton, they help control plankton populations, which can in turn affect the food chain. Their presence also supports the health of the oceans by balancing the populations of smaller organisms in the water. Additionally, their feeding patterns can indirectly support other species by helping maintain a stable ecosystem in plankton-rich regions. Other marine creatures, like smaller fish and even seabirds, benefit from the plankton stirred up by basking sharks as they feed. Fun facts: gentle giants. Despite their massive size, basking sharks are known for their docile nature and are often curious about humans, with some reports of them approaching boats or divers. Long lives. Basking sharks are long-lived animals. They can live up to around 50 years or more. Deep divers. While they are often seen near the surface, basking sharks are capable of diving to depths of over 1,000 feet, 300 meters. Close encounters. Even though they are the second largest sharks, they have very small teeth that are not useful for feeding on large prey. This makes them totally harmless to humans. Basking shark anatomy and sensory systems. Basking sharks, like other sharks, have a few special adaptations that help them survive in their marine environment. Ampulla of Lorenzini. These are special sensory organs located on the shark's head, near the snout. They help the shark detect electric fields produced by the movements of other creatures, like fish or other marine animals. Eyesight. Basking sharks have relatively small eyes compared to their size, which isn't surprising since they don't rely on vision to hunt or feed. Unique teeth. Despite being a member of the shark family, basking sharks have tiny, needle-like teeth. These teeth are not used for capturing prey, but are more likely involved in aiding the passage of plankton-rich water through the shark's mouth. Since they primarily feed by filtration, the teeth are not essential for their feeding strategy. Gill rakers. The gill rakers of a basking shark are specialized structures that help the shark filter out plankton. These comb-like structures, which line the shark's gill arches, are finely tuned to catch microscopic plankton, while allowing water to flow freely out through the gills. It's this system that enables basking sharks to feed in such large quantities. Legal protections. In response to these threats, basking sharks have been given legal protection in several parts of the world. United Kingdom. The basking shark is protected under the Wildlife and Countryside Act of 1981. They are also listed as a priority species under the UK Biodiversity Action Plan. European Union. Basking sharks are protected under the European Union Habitats Directive, which helps regulate fishing practices that could harm the species. United States. While basking sharks are not listed as endangered in the U.S., they are protected in certain areas like California and along the Gulf of Mexico. International protection. Basking sharks are listed in the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora (CITES), meaning international trade of these sharks is regulated to prevent further population declines. Importance of research. Research on basking sharks has been challenging because of their elusive nature and the difficulty in tracking such large migratory animals. However, advances in tracking technology, such as satellite tags and underwater cameras, have provided scientists with valuable insights into their migration patterns, feeding behavior, and population dynamics. Ongoing research efforts focus on better understanding the species' reproductive habits, migration routes, and overall behavior. This information is essential for shaping conservation strategies and ensuring that basking sharks can thrive in the future. Threats from tourism. While basking sharks are often a sought-after site for ecotourism, human disturbance can also pose a threat to their well-being. Disturbing basking sharks while they are feeding or swimming near the surface can cause unnecessary stress and affect their behavior. Guidelines for responsible basking sharks have a relatively slow metabolism, which matches their leisurely pace in the water. They don't need to exert a lot of energy because their food is abundant and small. Deep divers. Basking sharks are capable of diving to depths over 1,000 feet 300 meters, though they generally prefer shallower, more plankton-rich waters. Long migratory journeys. Some basking sharks migrate across oceans, with one recorded journey from the coastal waters of the UK to the waters near the Azores in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Physiological adaptations to filter feeding. Basking sharks have evolved some remarkable adaptations that make them highly efficient filter feeders, despite their massive size. Massive gills. The gills of basking sharks are quite large and cover a significant portion of their body. This allows them to filter vast amounts of water at once. As water flows through the shark's mouth, it passes over the gill rakers' fine comb-like structures trapping plankton and small fish in the process. buccal pumping instead of relying solely on water flow as they swim. Basking sharks use a technique called buccal pumping to force water through their gills. When they are stationary or swimming slowly, they actively pump water in and out of their mouth to ensure a constant flow of plankton-rich water through their gills. Large mouth structure. A basking shark's mouth is not just wide, it's also highly flexible. The skin around their mouth can stretch to accommodate larger volumes of water and plankton. The pharynx throat is also quite large, helping them swallow large amounts of water as they feed. Efficient digestion. After filtering out plankton from the water, basking sharks pass the water through their gills and consume the collected plankton through their throat. Their digestive systems are designed to process this small, nutritious food, allowing them to thrive on a diet of microscopic creatures. Behavior in the wild. A look at their basking nature. Basking sharks are often seen floating at or near the surface of the water, which is where they get their name. This behavior isn't about warming up in the sun, as might be inferred from the term basking, but it is likely tied to their feeding habits. Here's more about their surface behavior. Surface swimming. While swimming near the surface, basking sharks typically have a slow, deliberate pace. This allows them to filter plankton without expending a lot of energy. When they feed, they sometimes swim in circles or figure-8 patterns, staying in a food-rich area for extended periods. Interaction with boat traffic. Because basking sharks are often near the surface, they are at risk of coming into contact with boats and ships. This can lead to injury, especially when boats move at high speeds. Feeding behavior. The sharks generally feed in the upper water column, where the plankton concentrations are the highest. Sometimes, they can be seen in areas of upwelling, where nutrient-rich water rises to the surface, creating perfect conditions for plankton growth. Interaction with other marine life. Basking sharks, while not social animals, do interact with several other species within their environment. Symbiotic relationships. Like other sharks, basking sharks may host small fish and remoras that swim alongside or beneath them. These fish benefit from the movement of water caused by the sharks swimming, which brings small organisms for them to eat. However, these fish don't seem to have a long-lasting cooperative relationship with the sharks. They simply take advantage of the sharks' presence. Birds and basking sharks. Seabirds, especially those that feed on plankton, are often seen in the vicinity of basking sharks while they feed. The birds swoop down to capture plankton that is stirred up by the sharks. This indirect relationship benefits both species. Predators and threats. While basking sharks don't have many natural predators, due to their large size, their vulnerable status means they can be susceptible to human threats. In some areas, orcas, killer whales, have been observed attacking and preying on smaller sharks, but such incidents are rare, and usually not a primary threat. From Mystery of Basking Shark Reproduction. Much about the reproductive habits of basking sharks remains a mystery, mainly due to the elusive nature of these sharks and their tendency to live in deep and remote waters. However, scientists have been able to glean a few key details about their reproduction. Reproductive cycle. It's thought that basking sharks have a slow reproductive cycle. Female basking sharks likely reach sexual maturity between the ages of 12 and 15, while males mature at around 8 to 10 years. Given their slow reproductive cycle, with long gestation periods, and low number of offspring, they are vulnerable to overfishing. Gestation period. Although it is still unclear, the gestation period of basking sharks is believed to last around 2 to 3 years, making it one of the longest gestation periods of any shark species. This slow reproduction rate can make recovery from population declines challenging, especially in areas where human activities are heavily impacting shark numbers. Birthing. Basking sharks are viviparous, meaning they give birth to live young rather than laying eggs. However, no confirmed sightings of newborn basking sharks have been recorded in the wild. So much about the birthing process remains speculative. Researchers believe that they may give birth in deeper waters, away from human activity. Technology and basking shark conservation. Modern research and conservation efforts are increasingly focused on tracking and monitoring basking shark populations to better understand their behavior and migration patterns. New technologies are playing an important role in this effort. Satellite tagging. Scientists have used satellite tags to track basking sharks as they move across oceans. These devices are attached to the shark's dorsal fin and send signals to satellites, allowing researchers to track the shark's movements and better understand its migratory patterns. This data is crucial for identifying key habitats and protecting critical areas. DNA studies. Advances in genetics have allowed scientists to better understand basking shark populations, their reproductive strategies, and genetic diversity. This can help inform conservation measures and efforts to maintain genetic health in populations. Marine protected areas, MPAs. Increasing numbers of MPAs are being established around the world to protect not only basking sharks, but also other vulnerable marine species. Basking shark watching and ecotourism. Given their size and slow-moving nature, basking sharks are often seen in marine wildlife watching tours. Many coastal areas, such as those around the UK, New Zealand, and parts of North America, have specific guidelines for basking shark ecotourism, responsible wildlife watching. These tours are popular with marine enthusiasts because of the peaceful nature of basking sharks. However, it is crucial that boat operators and tourists follow strict guidelines to ensure that the sharks are not disturbed. This includes maintaining a safe distance, avoiding sudden movements, and adhering to slow speed zones. Educational value. Basking sharks are a fascinating subject for marine education. Conservation funding. Ecotourism can also help fund conservation initiatives, raising awareness of the importance of protecting these gentle giants. Profits from ticket sales can often be directed to conservation organizations focused on ocean health and shark protection. Fascinating basking shark facts. Record size. The largest confirmed basking shark ever recorded was about 40 feet 12 meters long. Although reports of even larger sharks have surfaced, these giants may just be a rare occurrence or the result of unconfirmed measurements. Slow growers. Basking sharks grow relatively slowly. Basking sharks can filter up to 1,500 tons of water a day through their gills, collecting plankton in the process. Their incredible ability to filter feed makes them essential players in marine ecosystems.